In this section, we're going to discuss the super keyword. The purpose of a constructor, as has been explained elsewhere, is to initialize instance variables. When a subclass object is initialized, it ensures that the superclass is initialized first. The reason behind this is that the subclass may depend on superclass values. So the superclass needs to be ready with those values before the subclass needs them. If a programmer does not explicitly call the superclass constructor so that the superclass can initialize its instance variables, the compiler sticks in a call to the no argument or default constructor of the superclass. Even though the programmer doesn't write it, the compiler inserts it, so that always the first piece of code in a subclass constructor is a call to the superclass. If the superclass needs to have a non-default constructor called, the programmer must add, as the first line in the subclass constructor, a call to that superclass constructor with parameters. Here's an example. We have the superclass with a single constructor that takes one parameter, and the subclass with two versions of constructor. Now, version 1 and version 2 can't technically be in the class definition because they have the exact same signature. These are just examples. Version 1 is a compilation error because the compiler tries to add the default no argument superclass call, but there isn't a superclass no argument constructor. Remember, if the programmer writes any constructor, the compiler will not insert the no argument constructor. If the programmer does not write any constructor, the compiler will generate a no argument constructor. Version 2 works because the programmer explicitly calls the superclass's one argument constructor. That will work, and that is correct design. Normally, when a subclass directly calls a superclass method, it simply states the name of the method. In some cases, the subclass will have a method with the exact same name and parameter list. This is called an overriding method. And the subclass will have to use the super keyword in order to call the superclass version. Otherwise, the subclass version would get called. While a subclass may use the super keyword to access non-overridden or dissimilarly named methods, its use is discouraged. So only use the super keyword when calling a superclass method when the subclass has an identically named method.